So I want to talk a little bit about this story where Taraji P. Henson is talking about how there's a disparity in pay in Hollywood and how the math ain't mathing up, and how despite her winning Oscar awards and being nominated for things, well, I don't know if she won an award, but she's been nominated for sure. But she's saying that she still gets offers that are a fraction of the cost of what her peers are saying. This is something that I hear a lot of women in general say in Hollywood about how, the math ain't mathing and how they don't get the same offer as their guy counterparts. Now, what's interesting is it's not that I don't think that there's a disparity, and I do think that initially women are probably getting lesser offers, but I'm also wondering about how often these women are actually asking to get paid more. Like she says down here, when it's time for renegotiation, I think it's on this one, it might be the next paragraph. Let's see right here where it says, oh yeah, when it's time to renegotiate, I'm at the bottom again, like I never did what I just did and I'm just tired. So even if there's a renegotiation, it doesn't mean that she's necessarily asking. And I say this because I found in general that, women across the board complain about a pay gap. And when women are talking to me about these things like, oh, I should be up for a raise, I'm not getting offered what I'm deserving, and etc. My first question is always, but did you ask for more money? And more often than not, the answer that I get is, well, no. I mean, they gave me this offer and I either figured I have to accept it or I'm gonna get fired, or, well, I hadn't even considered that I could ask for more. Real true story. I was dating a woman a few years ago who she was tired of the job she was in and she was going for a newer job. And she had been working in the previous job for like 7 or 8 years and was really good at it. And she had all the credentials, right? And so she went to this new place and she interviewed a lot and she ended up getting the job. And so they sent her a job offer that was, we'll say she was making 75K before. So this offer for the new job was 92K. And then so she came back to me and was like, hey, so they're offering this much. And my first question to her was, is that all they're willing to pay you? She was like, what do you mean? I said, well, like, that's what they're offering you. But like, did you try to go in and like ask them for more money? And she was like, I didn't do that. And I was like, well, yeah, like the question you always want to ask when you're getting offered, because it's a negotiation. So negotiation means they're going to make an offer. And especially in guy world, most guys know this. Like most guys know the offer that somebody's giving you, that is the opening for you to negotiate, either ideally higher for yourself. But there's a process that men know about whereby the offer I get is the minimum they're willing to offer at the moment. And my job is to come back and say, well, is there more you could offer me? And then this is why I'm worth the more that I'm going to be asking for. And I think because in women's world, everybody's trying to be the same and not rock the boat, that oftentimes women fear if I try to ask for more money, then it's going to rock the boat. They're going to think I'm being too greedy or that they're not going to really value that I'm worth as much as I'm trying to ask for. And so I said to her, I said, you could simply just go to them and say, so is that the best you can offer? Like, because what's probably happening is they're thinking that you're going to just take whatever. But if you go to them and say, is that the best you can offer? They're going to realize that you yourself see value in you, which means potential other employers might see value in you and then try to steal her away. And so I think at first she was like, I never had considered trying that. I said, yeah, just go to them and just say, is that the best you can offer? Because it's just a question saying, hey, is this all you can offer? If it is all you can offer, then you can decide to take that. That's totally cool. But you never know what they might say. They might come back and say, well, we can actually offer you a bit more. And so she went back to the negotiating table and simply said to them, is that the best you could offer? And they said, we'll let you know. And then they came back and said, okay, we're going to take our offer of 92K and instead offer you 125K if you're willing to take that. And that would have never happened if she hadn't been willing to go back. And I think for women, it's very uncomfortable because it's like, again, you're having to like basically say to somebody, your offer wasn't good enough, which is not a nice thing to do. And I found women on average are trying to be nice and cordial and all that other stuff, but it really takes them out of opportunities. And they'll look at guys and be like, how did Tom Cruise make $20 million, blah, 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 blah. And it's because somebody in his negotiating team asked for it. Now, let's look at Scarlett Johansson, who got paid $20 to $40 million when she did Black Widow. Somebody had to go in there by way of her and say, hey, we want more money than the last money we made off of like Avengers Endgame and stuff like that. So there are women in Hollywood that are making those tens, if not 20s of millions of dollars, but either they're asking for it or somebody on their team is smart enough to say, hey, you should negotiate for more. So unfortunately, especially for a lot of black women in Hollywood, I don't know, I'm not there every day. Maybe she is asking for the money, not getting it. But I just found in my day-to-day experience dealing with women that most women, especially black women, aren't asking for those raises. And so, yes, we could say, oh, these people that are lowballing need to just come to the table with higher numbers. But I'll tell you, in guy world, that's not going to happen. They're going to try to pay as little as possible unless you're willing to say to them, I don't accept low offers. And so these women that are complaining, again, if they're going in and asking for more money, then they need to be compensated properly. But I would probably guess that a majority of them are probably not going there asking. They're going in there and people are giving them offers and they're like, oh, how dare they offer me low? But that's part of how guys negotiate. And unfortunately, guys are most of Hollywood in terms of who's doing the meals and deals out there. So you got to know that when a guy's coming to you and saying, hey, I'm a producer person and we'll pay you this much, that on the guy's end of things, they're assuming a negotiation is going to happen. If you just choose not to negotiate, then at that point, that's on you for not knowing the rules of the game. So I just wanted to point that out. Hopefully, she is going to the table, at which point now there's a case to be made for like, okay, women are going to the table for these renegotiations and they're getting offers and they are asking for more money and they're not getting it. That then is unfair and needs to be looked at. But again, I found most women aren't asking, and all you got to do is go to the negotiation table and say, is that the best you can offer? And then see what happens. So that's just my 2 cents. But hey, let me know your guys' thoughts, especially women. Like, what's your experience with this in the real world? Like, do you find that you're just getting lowball offers all the time and not getting raises? Or have you found that actually asking to get more money, get you more money? I'd really be interested in hearing what you have to say. That's all I got.